Secretary Lehman.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, I hesitate to cite Mr. Clark as an authority after the last exchange, but he is extremely critical, as has been reported, about successive responses or lack of responses over the prior 8 years from the Pentagon when options, not plans, but options, were requested by the White House to retaliate against COBAR, against various options. You yourself are reported by another of about the same credibility author as being particularly unhappy about the options presented to you by the chiefs after 9/11. I assume from what I read in the press that what is underway now in planning and moving SOCOM from being a support team to a support TED staff moves in the direction of somewhat institutionalizing the flexibility and the agility that you all demonstrated so brilliantly in the Iraq War, and that leads to the question that our staff has been looking into and others have recommended to us, that perhaps the dichotomy we have between the Title 50 responsibilities of CIA and the Title 10 responsibilities of your building is obsolete, and that really probably SOCOM, or it's what it evolves into, may well be or should be designated as the chosen instrument for transnational counterterrorism, particularly, and that the Title 50 issues be dealt with head-on, and CIA be gotten out of the covert and special operations missions, and have all of them under the authority of SOCOM.
Let me make a couple of comments, Secretary Lehman. First, the reports that I've been unhappy about military plans, Dick Myers will agree with me that is probably partly due to the plans and partly due to my fact that I'm genetically impatient. And you can be sure that the men and women in the Department of Defense, in the combatant commands, and in the Joint Staff do a superb job. They really do a wonderful job. Dick, when they bring up something to Dick Myers or to me, we do not accept it. We question it, we push it, we probe it, we challenge it, we test it, and we force them to go back and answer 50 other questions. And so it's not surprising that people say we're unhappy. I think that the result of the superb job General Franks did with his team is an example of the product, and it was truly remarkable what he did and what the Special Forces people did when they were put in there in small numbers all across that country to work with the local militias in Afghanistan and accomplish what they accomplished in such a short period of time with such precision and such skill and such courage. The question you asked, I don't feel that I've spent enough time thinking about it to know how to answer your question. It's a question that is probably fair to ask. The way we've solved our problems is that if you take the agency and the Department of Defense, what we have done is recognize there's a seam between us, just as there's a seam between our combatant commands in the areas of responsibility, and that we have to address the seam. And how do you do that? And very often we do it where George Tenet will say, look, we're going to do X, and we need X number of your people to join our team. We don't have those competences. And we'll use the authorities that he has and some of our skill sets. It might be radio people, it might be medical people, it might be something else. And they then execute an activity with people on loan to them functioning under their authorities. And the reverse. There are times when we do things under our authorities, and they second people to our activities. Now, that's how you get around the problem. And it seems to me that it isn't perfect, but life isn't perfect. There are always going to be seams, no matter how you organize or how you arrange yourself. And you can have a lousy organizational arrangement, and you can have authorizations that date back to the industrial age, and you have good people, and you can find ways to solve a lot of those problems, and you can have a perfect organizational arrangement and people that aren't working together well, and it's terrible. Dick, do you want to comment on that?
Well, I probably haven't finished my thinking on this either, but you're correct in terms of SOCOM. It was essentially a fifth service, organized, train, and equip. What the Secretary has recommended to the President, what the President has done, has given them, made them operational. And so now they have the operational responsibility. It will take some years for them to grow into that, but they're being pushed very hard to do that. In terms of the relationship between the Department of Defense and the CIA in operations, I don't view it as a zero-sum game. I think there's room in the battle space for lots of players with different skills. The question is, how do we put them together? I think was what the Secretary was talking about, and that teamwork. I can only speak for the time that I've been here, but the teamwork is pretty darn good, actually.
Thank you very much.
And I would make one other comment on that, Secretary Lehman. The Special Operations Command, besides having the operational responsibility, is also being provided special authorities, and I will just stop there.